Hello, Keith Myers here. Thought I would do a series on stick boxing. This is something I've been working on for a while. I've gotten away from it, I've come back to it. Got the original idea from Guru Ted Lukai. I was privileged enough to go to some of his seminars years and years ago. One of the specific topics of the seminars was stick boxing, and we went over various things. He also did a VHS video years ago on the topic of stick boxing. Now, I'm not saying this is what Guru Ted taught, because that's been so long ago, I don't even remember what he taught. But that's where kind of the inspiration or the idea comes from. So in my mind, stick boxing is using boxing or Panatukan mechanics with a stick. Okay? So this would be for somebody that either comes from a boxing background and hasn't done stick work, or maybe that somebody that really likes the Panatukan but hasn't done a lot of the Kali stick work. So how do you take somebody with a Panatukan background and now kind of reverse engineer it and give them a pretty simple, straightforward, and intuitive stick method to go with their boxing, right? How do you stick fight with boxing mechanics? That's the idea, okay? So that means that various punches are going to translate into stick strikes. First of all, I've found that a short stick works the best. This is 21 inches. This is just like the Serrata guys. Serrata Eskrima guys use a shorter stick because it's an in-close fighting system. The same way with the stick boxing. If you're stick boxing, you are in punching range. So it's going to be a closer in system than typical Kali, right? Because when we're stick boxing, I'm using this hand too. And not just to check, although you do check a lot, but the idea is I can hit you with the stick and then I can follow with a punch, right? As part of a combination. So I'm in boxing range with a stick. And so a shorter stick moves faster and moves easier, because a longer stick will tend to almost get in the way at times when you're changing and you're moving, right? When you want to hit something, that longer stick is kind of a waste to some extent, because this is the stick that works, this length works great at that boxing range, 21 inches. Now, this just happens to be the same length as the pretty standard extendable batons, the ASP batons, you know, that you use for self-defense or that law enforcement carries. They come in various lengths, but that 21 inches seems to be one of the favorites because remember, the longer it's going to be, then the bigger the base has to be when it's compacted, and that 21 inches is a good compromise between small enough to carry and long enough to be effective, right? 21 inches. This also happens to be the standard length of a old-fashioned police billy club or truncheon that they used to carry, you know, that was solid wood and had a molded handle. And one story was that the whole reason that Angel Cabales used a shorter stick is that when he and his teacher, Felicimo Dizon, worked on the docks as security, they were issued a police billy club kind of as a badge of their station. And so when they trained their Eskrima, they trained with that shorter billy club length so they would be good with it, and hence the shorter stick. Okay, whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's the story I heard. So anyway, so stick boxing is going to use boxing mechanics and boxing style punches. So that means that a jab, well first of all, let's start from positions. And I'm going to have my hands up, just like boxing, right? I could be in this position, or I could have it over this shoulder. See, my hand is still basically in the forward position. It's just whether my stick angles this way or my stick angles this way. I could even have it low, right, on this side or this side, which if you look at some of the older pictures of boxers, sometimes they're like this, sometimes they're like this. It's that same idea. My stick could be here or it could be here. So I got 4 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can work from. And so you can move pretty quickly between those. Nothing extended, because if I extend it, it's a target. So it's here. So now from this position, I would normally jab. So my jab is a hit and back. So since we're stick boxing, most of the strikes are what in Filipino martial arts we would call witiks. They're wraps. They're hitting back, as opposed to being slashes or lob ticks. Because if I'm close enough to this guy that I'm in boxing range, if I make a big swinging motion, I'm open, right? If I make a big swinging motion, I'm open. So I keep my strikes wittix, short and sharp, so that as I come back, I'm still covered. I'm still ready to block the next thing. So most of the strikes that mimic the boxing punches are going to be wraps out and back. So the first is a jab, either with this hand, I could jab from this position, or I could have been in this position. So it could be a forehand jab or a backhand jab. I could be hitting here or here. Jab, 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 boom. Right? So I could do jab cross, jab cross, jab cross, jab cross, jab cross, jab cross, boom, right? You got the idea, that's the range. So we've also got the lead hand hook, right? I could do a jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. When I hook with my stick, I could either hook with the flat or the tip. So when I do the hook, it's the same mechanics. I'm turning like this, but I hit with the flat of my stick, right? So just like if I was hooking from a punch, I'm here. It's the same mechanics. I turn and I'm hitting, right? Boom, boom, boom. With the stick, it's this. Boom, boom, boom. With this hand. Boom, boom. It's still same mechanics. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Now if I get with the flat, I can hit with the tip. Doesn't. Now the difference is range. If I'm right on top of the guy, I could have done jab, cross, and I'm right here. Hook. If I'm fading away, I use the tip. And if I'm going to use the tip, it becomes this. And through, right? Hook. But see, before pivoting this way, now I'm pivoting away. Hook. Hook. So then it becomes jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. So it could be this, or it could be this, right, as a hook. And I could do a body shot. Jab, cross, body shot. Almost like a hook, but now I'm low. Jab, cross, body shot. And again, depending on the range, if I'm moving into the guy, my body shot is with the flat. It becomes that. Jab, cross, body shot. Jab, cross, body shot. Jab, cross, body shot. Now realize this is long enough. When calling a body shot, my hand could be at the same level for a body shot, and I could be dipping my stick low and catch the guy right across the top of the knee. So I say body shot, but that is also a knee shot if I want it to be, by dropping the tip. So against the body or against the knee. My hand is pretty much in the same spot for a body shot. And just like before, if I can do a body shot with the flat, I can do it with the tip. I could have been moving away more and caught the guy like this. Boom, like that. Jab, cross, body shot. Jab, cross, body shot this way. Jab, cross, body shot this way. Okay? And of course the third one is the uppercut. Uppercut. Everybody loves an uppercut, right? So jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. So again, the uppercut could be the flat or the tip. It works best with the tip in this case, because here's the case where now with the tip I'm in close, and with the flat I'm moving away, kind of the reverse of the others. But imagine the guy's right in front of me and I've done something, boom, and this is a case where I've changed it at my hip. We talked about a guard here, 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 here. Those are the four positions. This one comes from the hip. I've dropped to the hip and then I just lift with the tip. So I've done jab, cross, I drop to the hip, and this is meant to catch him, boom, like that. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. And this is where I say the shorter stick works better, because can you imagine trying to make that fit with a 28-inch stick? There just wouldn't be it just doesn't fit very well. With the shorter stick, you could sneak it right in there. And again, if I can do it with the tip, I can do it with the flat. And with the flat, I'm moving away. So I do jab, cross, and now I fade away, and I catch him like that. So now I'm catching him with this part of the stick under the chin. So in close or pivoting away. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, uppercut. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, body shot. Jab, cross, body shot. Okay? And I'm assuming the stick is in my lead hand, so there's not really a cross. I'm crossing with this hand. But you could argue that this is the equivalent of a cross. I could have done, if I doubled up, I could do bam, bam, and that would be the equivalent of jab, cross, right? Jab, cross, or cross, jab. You can put them together in different ways. You just be clever about it, but it's all this boxing pivot, this boxing mechanic, right? The boxing pivot. So you got to have that. I'm not going to try to teach that, but you got to have that boxing base for stick boxing to work. That's what makes it stick boxing. Now later on we'll go into more lessons and show combinations and different things, and realize that another big part of this system is going to be abanicos, right? I mean, usually abanicos are like a subsystem of a version of a Eskrima or Kali. Sometimes we'll find, you know, a small system that's just everything is based on abanico, which works great because at this range, abanicos fit in with that boxing structure because it's a close-in strike and it's still a wrap. And so remember, abanico is a fan, so it's just this flipping motion, either on a horizontal plane, a vertical plane, or a diagonal plane. Go in any of these directions. So obviously, if I'm in close, I'm in this boxing kind of format range, I could have been doing all kinds of abanicos from this range too. Boom, bam, abanico, especially on a defensive version. The guy's reaching out with his own stick. My abanicos are my defensive strikes on his arm, boom, as I'm just progressively moving in to do my stick boxing combinations. So we'll have sets on those too. But let me give you one essential coordination drill to go with all this to be working on. And that is simply this. Remember, it's this wrap and back. It either returns to one shoulder or the other, and we want to get this hand working. So this drill is simply, I go out, and when I come back, I tap, 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 I tap. So I'm crossing to the shoulder or I'm staying on one side. I just mix it up, but it's always this tapping motion. So I'm here, 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 tap, here, tap, here, tap, boom, 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 boom. And that gets you used to being able to not only turn that into a punch, but to be like with our abanico or a striking system, just to work where I'm always tapping and hitting, right? It just flows. Tap, hit, tap, hit, tap, hit. So that's an essential coordination drill. And just like in the Panatukan, we don't stay in one guard. Panatukan, I'm here, and then we switch over, and then I'm here, and it switches back and forth. It's not one-sided. Same way with the stick. Practice both sides. I'm going to be practicing the stick in the left hand, and at some point I switch and it's in the right hand. Practice both, right? To switch back and forth. So do the coordination drill this way, and then switch it up, do it this way. You got to be able to do both. Wow. You want to be just as good with the left hand as the right hand, and later we'll even go over drills for switching hands, okay? All right, I think that's it good for our first lesson, all right?